Melted, bitch.
Hi. Hey, everybody. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, where we basically just dish on all the latest industry, entertainment, news, tea, whatever you want to call it. We talk about it. So, for those of you who are coming in, do yourselves a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and don't be afraid to leave your comments depending on, what we talk about in today's topics. My damn ring light is getting on my root canal nerve. It don't want to work today. So I've got the one that I'm using, and I'm trying to use like the regular light on top of a ring. So I'm probably gonna be looking a little cray cray with the lighting, but I'm trying to make this shit work. But anyway, so nevertheless, while you all are in the room and all the other, for those of you who are watching the show, do yourselves a favor. Yes, hit that like button, and also follow my social medias if you're not already. It is down in the description, which I usually put down in there every time I do a show. So we got a lot of tea to spill. Well, it's not a lot going on, but I will always find something to talk about. So the Latin community apparently is mad at Mario Lopez because he was hanging out and supporting Donald Trump. So we're going to talk about that. I got that clip. The 150 names of people who were a part of the whole Jeffrey Epstein lawsuit. That story broke yesterday. We're going to talk about that. Plus, we got news on Charmed. That was a show that came out like 20 something years ago. Two of the cast members revealed that one of the other cast members got Shannen Doherty fired. So we're going to talk about that. They talked about it on Shannon's podcast. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Christian Keys, after people went on social media dragging Tyler Perry's name through the mud, now he decides to come out and implies that Tyler Perry is not the one who was trying to play with his twig and berries without his permission. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Taraji B. Henson is hinting at quitting acting. Could this be the last time we see Miss Cookie lying? I mean, I know she ain't playing that role no more. She's currently Shug Avery in The Color Purple, but nevertheless, Taraji B. Henson talking about she's thinking about leaving the industry because they keep playing in her face in regards to her coins. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Quad for Married to Medicine. I got to talk about Married to Medicine because Married to Medicine this season, season 10. Okay, the ladies been bringing it, but the way y'all did Quad in that last episode, that was trifling, but we're going to talk about that. So she did an interview with Carlos King where basically she revealed that the producers never told her about her ex-husband coming back to the show with his new wife, Sweet Tea. So I got thoughts on that. Plus, Cardi being Offset child. Now we know that they talking about that they not together, and she put him on blast on social media because I think why this is Kev. I think he's short but slow, like something wrong with him. But anyway, so Cardi and Offset apparently are doing a New Year's Eve party in the same hotel but in separate rooms. I don't know how that's gonna work. That's gonna be messy. But whoever gets to go, I need y'all to fan out and let me know how it went. So we're gonna talk about that. Plus, Cameron Diaz is trying to normalize separate bedrooms for married couples. I got thoughts on that. And word on the street is Mariah Carey might be single. That after 7 years, she and Tanaka, the backup dancer, may no longer be together. So we got that. And hold on, but like I said earlier in the show, be sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button if you are coming into the room right now, because I've noticed that, my followings have gone up. And so thank you for that. And also my views have been going up. Like I've been watching a lot of the videos that I've been doing. I've seen like the numbers and everything has been going up. So I appreciate all of you that come in and support the show and have been watching the show, leaving your comments, hitting the like button, becoming a fan of the show and subscribing. So kudos to y'all. I love y'all for that because it's definitely helping me out. And it gives a little tug at the ego to let me know to keep going and I'm doing the right thing. Like I'm putting out a lot of content during the week. Now I know Christmas is next week. So I don't know. It depends. But I ain't doing no Christmas show. But I'm just saying, like, depending on whenever stuff comes out, I always do a show. And also, yeah, hit that notification because you never know when I'm gonna come out and do a live show. So without further ado, let's get to the following topics, shall we? So I saw, on Instagram, because, I'll be scrolling through Instagram and stuff and other things. I was trying to also stream live from Instagram, but they be getting on my damn nerves with the whole stream key and everything. So I'm like, I'm not fighting around with them. It's whatever. If y'all want to come watch the show, you come watch it here. But anyway, so apparently people are pissed off, especially in the Latin community and Mario Lopez, because they saw him that he's been hanging out with Donald Trump. I don't know why y'all are surprised, but apparently people are surprised. And I do have this clip that I pulled from TikTok, which talks about it. And then once I play this clip, then we'll come back and dish on the tea. Now hold on, let's play it.
Mario Lopez was spotted at the UFC event with Donald Trump. This is a photo of Mario Lopez right there walking out with Donald Trump, which means he was in the back room with him and was in the select VIP surrounding Donald Trump, who was protected by Secret Service. And this comes as a surprise to me, and I'm also very disappointed. I didn't know Mario Lopez was a Trump supporter. Did you guys? Is this common knowledge? I mean, I couldn't imagine someone who comes from immigrant parents supporting a guy like Donald Trump, who spends the majority of his rallies degrading immigrants, calling them vermin, accusing them of poisoning the blood of our country. Really, Mario Lopez? That is who you're endorsing? That is who you are lending your celebrity and platform to? What a shame. I mean, I know he's a role model to a lot of people, but not after this, he's not. Shameful, 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 Mario Lopez. Mario Lopez.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I don't know why anybody's surprised by what people like Mario Lopez does. Mario Lopez gives me very much like, I'm Mexican, but I'm not one of those Mexicans. Because quiet as it's kept, look, the Mexicans are just as racist as any other of them parts of the Latin community. Specifically, like, we've heard Tenoch Huerta, who play, I was about to say Aquaman. He played Namor in Black Panther, the second one, and he brought this up. He said that how Mexico is racist and how they kind of thumb their nose at the indigenous people. And if you go to a lot of the Latin American communities, you tend to see a lot of the actors or a lot of the people that are in the spotlight that they are of a lighter hue. They don't look indigenous. So when you look at somebody like a Mario Lopez thinks that he is not like them. And a lot of people who are of colors tend to do that, where it's like, oh, I'm not like those people. I'm totally different. And he thinks, a lot of these people who align themselves with that man who's trying to be president. I just heard that Colorado basically took him off the ballot, so he can't run, I guess, in Colorado, but now he's trying to appeal it at the Supreme Court. This is all kinds of confusing. I'm still trying to figure out what that all means or whatever. But no, y'all should not let that wannabe fascist who thinks he's a dictator fuck up this country any more than he already has. But nevertheless, when you look at Mario Lopez, all they're thinking about is tax breaks. I did not see him walk out with Donald Trump at the UFC fight. Who I did see was Dana White, that old trifling bald-headed fuck head. And then I saw Kid Rock, stink looking ass, who I don't even look. I'm not surprised by Kid Rock. First of all, he's a no-hit one. Okay, he's a one-hit wonder. He had that cowboy song that came out like 20-something years ago, and since then he's been pretty much irrelevant in the music space. And then he piggybacked off of black people and black culture to have some kind of career. But when Cowboy did what it did and we done moved on from that and he couldn't get a good follow-up, now he's doing all this bullshit. And this is what they do. They run over to the conservative stuff so that way, because they feel like, oh, I'm of the elite, I have the money, so now I can be seen in this way of, oh, I'm not like them, so now I get my tax breaks, I get all this other stuff. And quiet as it's kept, here's the thing. Mario Lopez, just because you have anointed yourself to become the Mexican Ryan Seacrest, don't necessarily mean that at the end of the day, if you didn't have the money that you have, you wouldn't be invited to come up in places, let alone Mar-a-Lago. The most you would probably be able to do, or your family, because you come from a family of immigrants, is that you be up in there cleaning them gold toilets, along with your mother and your father. Your father be out in the damn field cutting that grass, and your mama be up in there cleaning that china and wiping that gold toilet. So I know some people feel like, oh, that's racism. No, it's not. A lot of the stuff, who's taking the jobs that Americans ain't taking? Immigrants. A lot of people who come over here, whether it's legally or illegally, they do the jobs that American people don't want to do. So if people find this to be controversial or unfiltered, hello, the name of the show is Chris Avalon Unfiltered. So I'm going to say what I need to say, how I'm going to say it. And so people like Mario Lopez is like the typical people of color. And that's why I found it funny the other day when he was on The View trying to sell them horrible looking shoes that looked like they were just made in a sweatshop and supposed to be sold straight at Kohl's. That's what them shoes was giving me. Like, I don't know anybody that was going to buy them ugly ass shoes he was trying to hawk on The View. They were sitting there like, oh, well, why is people so surprised that you're Mexican? Because you don't act like you even embrace your Latin heritage. That's why people are confused as to what your nationality is. Or people, I mean, hello, Mario Lopez, that should have been a dead damn giveaway that he's from the Latin community. But because of the way he presents himself, why are you surprised that people are looking at you as like, are you even from our community? Because a lot of times, a lot of Latin people like to run around acting like they white any damn way. So I could see why the Latin community is pissed off at him and they're disappointed. And I'm not surprised by stuff like this because it wasn't that long ago, if y'all forget, that he went on this whole thing. He went on Candace Owens' show and started talking about trans children and gender identity and all that other stuff. But, sir, it wasn't that long ago. You couldn't keep your dick out of other vaginas, even when you was about to marry the current woman you with. So I don't understand, like, how you over here worrying about children and gender identity when you can't even keep your dick out of the opposite gender. So you need to focus on what you're focusing on. And I'm not surprised by the stuff that Mario, because quite as look, who been checking for Mario Lopez? He literally has his tight ass podcast I ain't never heard. He's doing what? Access Hollywood. Who still watches Access Hollywood? Extra one of them. Who still watches that and gets their news? By the time the T gets to those type of shows, TMZ, myself, and so many other influencers, bloggers, podcasters, whatever, done spilled it all over the internet. And they, by the time I get to them, they're trying to give that whole Hollywood Reporter clean, squeaky clean version of the tea. So they're not going to give you the real juicy stuff. So I say, Alyssa say, I'm not surprised by what this man has done. Fuck Mario Lopez. He's trash. I ain't never pretty much cared for him. And I don't care how deep them dimples go in your damn cheeks and how you still look young for 50. You probably made a deal with the devil to keep them damn looks. But look, whatever. That's all I gotta say on that. Robert says he basically needed Sheryl Crow for his second biggest hit picture. Oh yeah, I forgot about that song, but and I do like Sheryl Crow. Mario Lopez, literally, I knew was a conservative because he did an interview with Candace Owens, and they just yeah, exactly. That's what I was alluding to. That at that point, you know, she pretty much, when it came to Candace Owens and that whole situation, the minute he went on there and started spewing his stuff and saying the things he was saying, I was pretty much not shocked by his stance on stuff. And it's funny how it's like the minute people get a little bit of money in their pocket, y'all easily run conservative. A lot of the Latin community runs conservative. Have you been to Florida? It's like that's a pretty much dead giveaway. It's like how a lot of the Latin people, you know, Latin people with money, the first thing they do is they run Republican, or is it that they fiscally Republican? I don't know. But anything, child, if any tea come out about him, he better hope no tea don't come out. Oh, speaking of which, y'all think he on that Epstein list? Because we're about to get to that story in a second. You think he might be one of the names on that Epstein? You better tread lightly, sir. Now, speaking of Epstein, let's get to the story about the Epstein list. So the judge has ordered the release of over 150 names of people who were, you know, the associates that were on that little list that he had, which, you know what, I know a lot of people ain't really talking about it, whatever, but I truly believe that somebody done killed that man. I truly believe that Jeffrey Epstein did not hang himself. I do believe that it was some type of job that somebody paid to have him assassinated in prison, because he knew too much. He knew where the bodies was buried. And they was probably afraid that he was going to go and snitch or try to hack some kind of a deal in order to get out of whatever it was that he was getting out of. So according to the Associated Press, they said the people whose names are to be disclosed, including sex abuse victims, litigation witnesses, Epstein's employees, and even some people with only a passing connection to the scandal, have until January 1st to appeal the order signed Monday by Judge Loretta A. Prescott. Now, when they say they have until January 1st to appeal the order, does that mean, like, okay, so now if they go and say that you got to appeal it, does that mean that you got to, that when whoever appeals it to not come out, wouldn't you be snitching on yourself? Like, wouldn't we know, like, okay, so does that mean you want to listen? You a little you scared or something or another? So that's what I wonder. And they said for several years, Prescott has reviewed documents sought by the Miami Herald from a civil case filed by one of Epstein's victims that eventually was settled. Many of the records related to the lawsuit were publicly released in past years, but on Monday, the judge made determinations about which portions of the records that were initially withheld by potentially privacy grounds and what can be made public without certain people mentioned in the records. And then y'all know that he had the associate and former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, is currently in prison because she was, doing some stuff. And I remember there was a woman, I forgot her name, that exposed all of this on, I think she went on The View and started and did like a whole expose on Ghislaine and all this other stuff. And then I believe months later, Ghislaine ended up in prison where she still is rotting. And then they said that Epstein took his own life in 2019 of August in a federal lockup in Manhattan as he awaited trial on sex trafficking charges. He was accused of luring numerous underage girls to his homes under the guise of giving him massages and then sexually abusing them. I do not believe that the story that he took his own life, because how was he able to do that? And then they said Maxwell, who is 61, is serving a 20-year prison sentence when she was convicted in December 2021 of helping Epstein recruit and sexually abuse underage girls. And I truly believe that was a warning to Ghislaine. I was like, oh, well, just so you know, he ain't kill himself. You will be next if you open your damn mouth. And so she's going to sit up in there and do her 20 years, which I believe she'll be out in what? If she went in for 61, she'd get out in her 80s, 81, 82. So I am curious. There's not really much to say on this, except I'm just genuinely curious to find out who's on this list. Republicans and Democrats, I'm sure are. I'm sure his list is very long in regards to politicians. Because remember, we talked the other day, about the staffer, the Senate staffer who was having sex in the hearing room. He ain't the only one that been doing those scandalous stuff regarding having sex in, a government office. Politicians be out here, hiring call girls and masseuses who, be giving happy endings and going to brothels and all this other stuff. So a lot of these politicians who are out here using our taxpaying dollars to be out here laying it low and spreading it wide on the company dime. And I'm sure a lot of them were on that list as well. So I'm curious to find out the politicians, I'm sure there's some executive names on there. I'm sure there's a lot of celebrities on there too. Because remember, there's been legendary stories about people who've been on Epstein Island. Now, I'm hoping and praying the Clintons ain't on there, but I have a strange feeling they are. So, allegedly. But, to protect myself. So, nevertheless, I say all this to say I'm genuinely curious. Look, they said they got until January 1st. So, I'm sure probably by the top of the new year, maybe before that, somebody going to leak it. TMZ nosy ass. They always try to find a way to get their hands on information and leak it to the press. So, I'm genuinely curious as to find out who has the list and who is going to spill the tea for me to talk about on this show. Okay, so Robert says they say it was the Clintons and he could have put them in jail. Child. I remember hearing Bill Clinton say, now everybody's saying it, that they believe Bill Clinton. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Bill Clinton, no innocent, but look, I will say this. During the Clinton era, money was flowing. The situations, money was good at the time. The economy was booming and all that good stuff during that. But look, we can't negate the fact that he was in the same boat as like a John F. Kennedy. Like he was a Rolling Stone, not having a bunch of kids, but wherever he laid his dick was his own in a way. Not where he laid his head. He didn't make no babies that we know of, but he was out here laying alone and spreading it wide with whoever. Look, that White House probably still got them cum stains from Miss Lewinsky. So there's that. It's Raquel. She says, you finally caught me live because I be going live all times of the day. So it is good to see y'all in here. Okay, so good luck to y'all. But like I said, I am genuinely curious to hear who's on this damn list, the Epstein list, because child, it's about to be juicy. So somebody better leak it. Okay, so let's get into this charm story because I listened to the podcast today. I think it dropped like 2 days ago. And I listened to the first part last week. And then this week they released a new one. Because, like I said, I've been feeling a little nostalgic. Like there's a couple of cute shows that's out and stuff that I like. But for the most part, I genuinely have been liking a lot of I've been kind of feeling nostalgic and watching a lot of old shows. Like I told you, I've been watching, I watched Family Matters, I've been watching Sex and the City. I did like a 5-episode back-to-back episode, marathon of Sex and the City last night. I don't know. Like I said, I've been feeling a little nostalgic when it comes to a lot of the shows and stuff. So I've been watching a lot of old shows and things of that nature. Now, this is one of the shows. Charmed, I have been watching, like I'm currently on season 1. I've been watching it as frequent as I've been watching other shows, but Charmed, I did start to revisit. I hate the fact that they removed the original theme song, because that was my song, and that was one of the reasons why I love the show, even though it's in The Craft, and they took the song from The Craft and put it in the Charmed show. And I think because of the success of The Craft and how that had a big following, that's why people jumped, and that was like a great time for Charm to come out and do what it did. But for the most part, that was that. And there was always rumors that were going around that Shannen Doherty was difficult to work with, that she was fired. But they were saying that no, people believe that she quit the show. I have never heard the quit story. I've always heard the fired story. So I don't know where that other stuff came from. I had always heard stories that Shannen Doherty was fired from the show because she was difficult to work with, that she was butting heads with Alyssa Milano. That story has always gone around for years. So I don't know where people was coming out with this other narrative. That's news to me that she quit. But then on the podcast that she did, she had Holly Marie Combs, who played her sister Piper, on the show. And they basically said that Alyssa Milano had a hand in getting Shannen fired. So this is courtesy of People magazine. So the 50-year-old actress who starred as Piper Hollowell, as in Holly Marie Combs, on the hit WB series, recalled meeting with show producer Jonathan Levin, who she claims told her that he was being forced to pick between Doherty and co-star Alyssa Milano to stay on the show. Now, according to Combs, Levin said, "We didn't mean to, but we've been backed into this corner. We basically in this position where it's one or the other. We were told by Alyssa it's her or Shannen, and Alyssa has threatened to sue us for a hostile workplace environment." Meaning that Milano was running around saying that y'all, it's either her or me, but if you fire me, I'm going to file this lawsuit. So basically, it wasn't it's between you and me. It was, you better fire that bitch, otherwise I'm filing a lawsuit, because she didn't like this deal that Shannen had on the show. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's go where we're going. So they said that Combs added that she was told Milano, who's 51, had been documenting every time she felt uncomfortable on set. Producers ultimately killed off Doherty's character Prue Hollowell in the Charmed season 3 finale in 2001, and then Rose McGowan later joined the series as their long lost sister Paige that they didn't know about. Now, the Pretty Little Liars alum added that she was surprised by Milano's accusations, that she couldn't recall any brawls or harsh words exchanged between the actresses on the set of the drama series, which ran from 1998 to 2006. Now, Doherty, who's 52, also claimed that she was at a loss even today. "I lived in a year after that, sort of replaying everything in my brain and really trying to find those moments. I don't ever remember being mean to her on set." She said, "I remember an episode I directed where she did something on the Christmas break, and they asked me to work around some things with her, and I had no problem with it. I couldn't have been more kind of understanding." And now she said that she still struggles with a departure from the series, saying that, you know what, as you get older, you accept the things that have happened, and then she don't know if she could forgive her, but she says that she has come to accepting the whole thing. Or maybe, I think they did patch things up at one point, because I think there was a period where Shannen had breast cancer, and she said Alyssa reached out to her and they patched things up. But I know at this part, it's probably going to reignite old wounds. I've heard that Alyssa has responded to what's going on. I haven't gotten around to reading what she possibly had said in regards to the situation, but I do understand why Shannen is saying what she's saying, because if she's doing a podcast, which seems to be like the new biopic or the new biography, that a lot of celebrities are spilling tea on things that we've always speculated about, and they're telling it in their own words in podcast form. So sometimes you got to go back and revisit and reopen those wounds and have the conversation, even though you may have patched things up with your former co-star who you were beefing with at one point. Sometimes you got to get back and tell your story. Now, I did hear something or another that Alyssa's mother did come out and try to say that Shannen was not being completely truthful and everything or whatever, but it's like, ma'am, can you let your daughter fight her own battle? Why are you jumping into the mix? It's kind of like that shit with Kiki and her damn mother. It's like, Kiki got done and brought us in the group chat and got us in this mess with her and her man. Let her defend her situation. Sharon, don't be getting on the camera, spitting at the camera and stuff, cussing this little boy out and telling all the tea. Let your daughter handle what need to be handled. Same thing with Alyssa. Alyssa need to come out and speak on what she's speaking on. But also, I can understand here was the thing. Okay, so Shannen came off 90210. She was fired from 90210 because they said she was difficult to work with, which we couldn't find out was partially because she didn't like the nepotism that was going on 90210. Remember, Aaron Spelling, who created the show, his daughter Tori was on there, and we all know how well Tori can act. It was sarcasm, you ain't get that. But so Shannen didn't like the whole nepotism thing, and I think the problem with Shannen is that she didn't know how to like bite her tongue and things. She's very headstrong. She's gonna say things that is unpopular and it's gonna rub people the wrong way. And you have to know in that time, and even now, a lot of men or people in power, but we'll say men, don't like strong women giving an opinion and saying things that they don't feel that a girl should be saying. You need to get up in there, you need to stand in your mark, say your lines, and do what we tell you. And also, Shannen didn't like the fact that y'all had them out here acting like a bunch of damn Hollowell whores instead of, okay, making the primary focus be on these young women who are coming up in their 20s who are trying to balance work, relationships, and also, coming into their own magical powers. But they wanted to focus on, Phoebe wanting dick every 5 minutes, Piper falling in love with a ghost until she got with Leo. And then Prue, 1 minute she with Andy, next minute she not with Andy, and so it's always that y'all always had these girls act like they boy crazy, whatever. So maybe they were trying to do Sex in the City with magical powers. Maybe that was where they were trying to go with the show, and you had a bunch of 40-something-year-old men trying to write for 20-something-year-old women in the 90s and the 2000s, and that kind of wasn't working. And as an actor, actors always look at it as it should be a collaborative effort and not they want it to be a collaborative effort and not just, I'm just gonna come out here and I'm just gonna say my line and not have no kind of say so in the part that I'm playing. Like, it should be a collaborative effort. And I think that's why a lot of people love actor turned directors, because directors who once upon a time acted, like a Ben Affleck or these other people, they understand how to let actors play around and figure out the role and bring different things to the table, so that way they can, make things work for them. If you're just a straight up director and you working in technical stuff, but you don't know how to deal with people, it's gonna be difficult and you're gonna butt heads. So that's why I always encourage, like, if you're gonna be a director or whatever, maybe y'all need to take an acting class and understand where actors are coming from and how to speak for an actor and how to speak an actor's language. So there was there was that, and I wanted to see if there was any, anything else that was going on in regards of that. Oh yeah, so if y'all want to hear the podcast, Let's Be Clear with Shannen Doherty, definitely check it out on, I think it's on iHeart, it's on Spotify, or you can go to my website, chrisavalon.com, and look up Holly Marie Combs claims Melissa Milano had Shannen Doherty fired from Charm. Click on that, and the episode that I'm talking about is at the bottom of, the whole article and stuff. So, yeah, so I love the show. I hate the fact that they brought up all this drama. And also, you know what? I remember they also implied or talked about, bringing the show back, not as well, they said reboot, but then Holly was like, I don't like reboot. First of all, they did reboot it. I hated the reboot. And I don't want to say woke, this, that, and the third, because I feel like people who use that word, that sounds very much like it's got racial undertones. But what I didn't like about the new charm, it didn't have the charm of the original series. It just didn't have that energy, that chemistry and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm here for diversity. I'm all for shows that need to show diverse cast and all that other stuff if you're gonna do an IP right. But my thing was with that Charmed or whatever, it just didn't give me that energy that feeling that I got from the original show, which was technically built around, or not technically originally, it was built around Shannen Doherty. That was a show that was created for her in a way. And then she said that she wanted Holly to be on the show. She was the one she chose. And then they had another girl that was supposed to play Phoebe, but because of religious beliefs and stuff, and they were talking about, that's witchcraft and stuff, you can't do the role. I'm thinking she was a Scientologist. That's why she dropped out. And so she didn't do the show or whatever. So that's when they picked Alyssa Milano. And I get it. Alyssa Milano was a big star at the time because, coming off of Who's the Boss. Then also she was doing a lot of those movie of the weeks. Remember, at one point, she played Amy Oh my God, what the hell was her name? The one Joey Buttafuoco was hunching and then shot the wife? Amy Fisher. That's what she played. She played, there was, and I remember at one point, I think they did 3 movies of the Amy Fisher story. It was her, it was Drew Barrymore, and I believe it was another person. And then they was like a battle of the Amy Fisher movies. I don't remember which one won in the ratings. I might have to Google schmoogle that. But I do remember that there was a point where Alyssa Milano played Amy Schumer. It was on, I think, CBS, NBC, and ABC. All had their own Amy Schumer. Their Amy Fisher stories. And I believe Drew Barrymore was on CBS, and I believe the one with Alyssa Milano was on ABC. I don't even remember if I even seen any of those episodes. I think I was way too young, and my mother was not letting me sit there watch no damn movie about no damn Amy Fisher. So, they had all of that and stuff. So, yeah. So, oh wait, let me read the comments because I got a lot. I see 11 comments up in here. Oh, yes. So, Rover says, congrats on 400 subscribers. Yes, I know, because it was taking me forever to get to those numbers. But I've realized that the more content that you push out, the more subscribers you get. So thank you all who have subscribed to the show. And if you new and you in the room and you haven't subscribed, please do so that way we can get those numbers up. Because once I go to 1,000, which is taking me forever to get there, because doing a show 3-hour show once a week was cutting it. So now I had to do multiple ones. The more subscribers I get, the more I can monetize. So that's what I'm trying to get to 1,000. Okay, so Raquel is in the building still. She says, Melissa Milano is terrible. You know some tea? Look, I remember some tea you told me about, what was it that you told me? Oh, about Britney Spears and that whole thing. I say, if you know anything about Alyssa, definitely let me know. And say preach, because I guess all the stuff that I was saying about, Charmed and everything. Mama bears be cray, but when we become a mama bear, your mama bear needs to retire. Okay. So Shannon saying, I don't recall, says it all. I mean, she do have stage 4 brain cancer, right? So maybe she don't recall. Rose hating Alyssa Milano. Now this just makes sense. Well, damn, because I was like, okay, so now it's one thing if Shannen comes out and says that Alyssa is difficult to work with, but if you kill a one cast member, which a lot of people was pissed when they killed off Shannen Doherty, because quiet as it's kept, even though Alyssa Milano was famous in her own right, so was Shannen Doherty. Like, I remember Shannen from freaking Little House on the Prairie. Like, that's how far back she goes in the world of acting. She was on that show, Little Girl. And then, then she did 90210, and then she was in Heathers. Another movie that I love, by the way. Heathers walked, so Mean Girls, and the other movies that y'all like could run. No, Heathers is the original Mean Girls. A lot of people don't know that. When Holly became a producer in season 5 of Charmed, she had more to say in her character. I love the green screen comment if they have to work with Alyssa. Oh yeah, they were talking about that they were gonna bring a green screen. That would be so weird if they do green screen. So it's like, oh, I have to act this line and we're not even gonna be in the same. I don't like that. And look, there's a lot of people in Hollywood that don't like each other and then they work with each other, but it is what it is. Amy Fisher, thank you. Yeah, because I had a brain fart. Then it came to me the second I couldn't remember. I said Amy Schumer though. Drew Barrymore was in one. Like I said it was Drew Barrymore. It was Drew Barrymore, and it was Alyssa Milano. And I remember there was 3 Amy Fisher movies, and there was some other girl. I don't know if she was less famous, but there was 3 Amy Fisher movies. I don't know why they needed to make 3 damn movies, but it was just at the back of the day. It was the battle of the networks. They wanted them ratings. She was also in Fear, got killed by Marky Mark. Oh yeah, Alyssa Milano was in that movie. She played the best friend. She was the whole best friend. Yeah, she was laying alone and spreading it wide in that movie. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I do love that movie. I like that movie when he was fingering Reese Witherspoon on the roller coaster. Yeah, so Fear was my movie, and then that was like when people was looking at him like he can't act. He's the Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. But look, I had the biggest crush on Mark Wahlberg back in the day. A daily podcast for who? For me or for her? I said, oh, Reese Witherspoon. I don't know what you mean by the whole Reese Witherspoon thing, or if we're talking about Fear. I was trying to see who else played her besides. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember who played her, but I know there was 3. Or maybe I'm wrong, but I could have sworn it was 3 damn Amy Fisher movies. Alyssa Milano was in Fear as her best friend. I remember. Mm-hmm. So all did I remember the Poison Ivy movie, chair. No, the 90s was big with the whole, was it the 90s or the 2000s? I remember that there was a big thing with Skinamax and all that other stuff back in the day. And you had the Poison Ivy, and she was doing a lot of, her and Drew Barrymore was doing a lot of those, movies where they was being all scandalous and topless and all the stuff. And I remember, look, Drew Barrymore did Playboy too. Marky Mark could have gotten all, child, them Boston boys, leave them Boston boys alone, child. Look, J-Lo got her one. Ben Affleck. But anyway, so yeah. So I was like, let me get to all the comments and stuff. And yes, yes, yes. Once again, thank you all for the 400 subs on today's show. Oh yeah, she did go topless on Letterman. She was a mess. Look, a lot of people tend to be messy on Letterman. Madonna couldn't stop cussing. And then you had Drew showing her damn titties. But anyway, okay, now speaking of titties and exposing and groping and things, let's talk about Christian Keys. So the other day we talked about Christian Keys and that story that came out that he said that he was assaulted numerous times, not only by a big, powerful billionaire. And he said, no, I didn't see the documentary, which gave us a lot of clues as to, is he talking about Medea? Is he talking about Tyler Perry? So a lot of us, thought that that's what he was talking about. And then there were other numbers. There were other names that came up. Byron Allen's name came up, a couple other people. I don't know nobody else that put out a documentary, but Tyler Perry. But if y'all know another billionaire that did, let me know. Then people started speculating. I remember the moment I started talking about the whole thing, because the day that Christian said what he said, I went and did a live and brought up, played the clip, because I wasn't playing the whole damn thing. First of all, it took him even though that video was an hour, it literally felt like it took him 30 minutes just to get to a damn point. I'm like, sir, I know you probably said, whatever trauma you're dealing with, and I get it and stuff, but sir, can you please get to the point? Like, my patience. And I wasn't trying to do no 3-hour show by talking about you. So he, said what he said. People went online. Tyler Perry's name was trending for like 24 hours. I think it probably still was. But then I saw a lot of pundits and a lot of people were kind of side-eyeing Christian, saying that it seems like a money grab, that why did it take him so long, which is a typical thing that they say to people who have been assaulted, abused, whatever the case is. And I always say that a lot of times when it takes them a long time to come forward, it's a power thing. A lot of times there's a fear of like, okay, so if I come out and say so-and-so touched me inappropriately, then I have the fear of being blackballed or whatever the case is. He also implied that there was a female actress that he worked with that continuously grabbed his meat on set and said, oh, you got girth down there. So now I know the man got a thick dingling. I ain't even know that. Christian is cute, but here's the thing. I don't really particularly care for pretty boys, because I be thinking y'all too into yourselves. When it comes to, you light skin with that good hair and you got the typical Hollywood good looks, especially in the Black community where there's this whole light skin, dark skin situation, and how certain races, especially in the Black community, are revered, and people will look at you a certain way and be like, Christian, as good as he looks, he should have gone far. And his career started out when he was doing Tyler Perry plays. What was he in? Medea Goes to Jail? He started doing the plays, and I know he did like a couple of movies here and there, but I never really, and I've seen him in passing, but I never really paid attention to him long enough to even, in regards to his career. Like, I ain't never really been paying attention to him like that. So now he's trying to, clean up. He's trying to play the clean up woman and say that Tyler Perry was not the person that harassed him. Now, as previously reported, it said what was said in the live stream, he said, I want to have these discussions. I want to be transparent with y'all about that. I've done my best to forgive the person, but it happens. It's not just women that have to deal with it, but it's also men sometimes. And it be men tempting men, which I knew. First of all, there's a thing in Hollywood called the casting couch. And the casting couch is legendary, and a lot of people jump on that couch to have a career. Sometimes I'd be wondering with some of these actors. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't you just come out yesterday? How'd you get the lead in that movie? Who did you suck? So sometimes I'd be looking at it as like, there's no way your half acting ass was able to secure that gig just off talent. So some of them be laying it low and spreading it wide. And I know that some people be going for it and it is what it is. Then there's some people that do it and it's traumatized. And he said that the only thing was one of the men wanted to pay him $100,000 just to see him naked. They didn't want to touch him. They just want to see him naked. But I guess it was the principle about being humiliated is what bothered him. And here's the thing. I am here for people to spill their tea and to speak about this because I do believe like sexual abuse is definitely something that should be spoken about. That is something that we need to address and we need to like not thumb our nose at because a lot of times, particularly with black men, when they speak out, y'all want to clown them. We saw what happened with Terry Crews. Cooning, buffoonery aside, which people have dragged him for, the fact of the matter was that Adam Vinnick guy who works used to work because afterwards he had to resign, but he was like the guy was licking his tongue at him across the room and grabbed his meat literally because he said I went over just to shake his hand. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? I guess trying to be friendly or whatever. And then the guy goes and tries to grab his meat and is licking his tongue and doing all kinds of weird shit. And then he's being offended, and then you get dumbasses like fucking D.L. Hughley talking about, well, it's hard for me to believe a guy that size will let some man put his hands on him. Now, you're supposed to be Ungawa Black Power, right? This is what I don't get about people like D.L. Hughley. You sit up there with your fist in the goddamn air like you a member of the Black Panther Party trying to root for everything, all things black. But it's funny, like when it comes to this, then all of a sudden, oh, well, why didn't you raise up? Why didn't you punch him in the face? You should know goddamn well when it comes to situations like this and black people that there's a stereotype when it comes to big, burly men being menacing looking. And if they put their hands on somebody, what you think that means? Oh, that black man assaulted me. His career will be done. So now all of a sudden, it's funny how black people want to get a sense of amnesia when it comes to sexual abuse. It's funny how y'all do that. And y'all want to clown people. So DL need to get off my goddamn line with his bullshit. And funnily enough, his co-star from the Hughleys, Elise Neal, jumped in the comments when he posted what he posted on his Instagram and said that she's been a victim of the same type of behavior in the industry where she's been propositioned or men have been inappropriate with her. There was a lot of celebrities that were jumping in line. So that's got me looking like, was DL was it on the set of the Hugleys? Was this going on? Like, sis, Elise Neal, who was also in Scream 2. That was Hallie. Sydney's best friend. Well, of the moment, because then they killed her off. But nevertheless, Elise said that this had happened to her as well. And a lot of people were jumping in the comments saying that they had heard these similar stories that he's told this has happened 15 years ago. People was like, oh, Tyler Perry's career was a popping 15 years ago. I'm like, really? Because I could have sworn that when did Diary of a Mad Black Woman come out? It didn't come out yesterday. So it do feel like it was almost 15 plus years that movie came out and he's been making these plays. Tyler Perry been around for a minute. So I know Christian trying to clean things up, but I'm giving it the side eye. I don't know if I necessarily believe him 110%. So he also said that he's going to be taking the evidence to the police. And I say that's what you need to do. But one of the things I will admit that I do not like about people, if y'all going to spray people tea on social media, if y'all going to sit up here and say somebody essayed me, I think if you're going to say that Cassie gave you the courage to get up here and say what you need to say, then you need to pull a full Cassie and you need to have your lawsuit set up. Don't even let nobody know you dropping that shit. You got your lawyers, you have your paperwork and everything, your I's dotted, your T's crossed, and then you send it out. And then that's when we come in and we say what we need to say. But the tea got out with Cassie, and then in 24 hours, did he settle? Now, if you would have had all your shit and you claim that you got audio and all this other stuff, and we heard the voice, we would definitely recognize them. I don't know what a Byron Allen voice sound like. I don't know what a lot of these other people's voice sound like, but I do know if I heard Tyler Perry across a room and my back was turned and I heard Tyler Perry open his mouth, I definitely would recognize his voice. It's very distinct. And I'm not saying that he got to do the whole Medea voice. Like his regular man speaking voice automatically pick that up. So, yeah, so he basically, I guess, was just trying to say that it wasn't Tyler, but I'm not believing that. So if you want to sit up here and say that it's Tyler, if you say it's not him, then I guess it's not him. But I'm side-eyeing the whole situation. So until you come out and you say who it is and you follow through, because I've noticed that there's been a lot of that going on lately. I've noticed there's been a lot of y'all spraying people's shit, y'all saying stuff on social media, but not following through. Like Cardi B, and we're going to get into her later on in the show. You and Offset fighting on social media, but okay, so when you filing the divorce papers? Now, Tamar and that whole thing what went on at the club, I mean, when she was performing her one album. Well, she's come out with multiple albums, but I'm just saying that one album, Love and War, when she came out and she did that, and the whole drama that happened over there with Krishan and her one tooth having ass, and that whole situation. Okay, so Miss James got punched in the face or whatever and had to get them fixed. You should have took Krishan with your ass so y'all can get a 2-for-1 sale. You could have went to Heavenly and had them teeth done. So y'all, for Mad to Medicine, because she do teeth. So you could have probably said and did what you need to do with that. And then where's the follow through with that? Has lawsuits been filed? Is she getting sued? Like, y'all say stuff and don't follow through. But y'all, I think y'all love us talking about y'all and try to say, oh no, y'all don't like the drama. Y'all don't want us talking about you. So you say shit, but then y'all don't follow through with what needs to be followed. So that's the overall irritation I have. If y'all gonna come out here and say some stuff and put your shit out here in the street, y'all need to give us a full follow through. How's this all going to end? Like, y'all pull us in the soap opera. I don't like a cliffhanger. I don't like a cliffhanger. I like, if I get a two-parter, like the two-parter better come on immediately after the one part, because like I need resolution. So that's basically all I got to say on that. Okay, so I got a couple of comments, so let me get to that. Warner is attempting to merge with Paramount. Well, we'll see what happens with that. I heard Terry Crews talk about, yep, I mentioned the whole Terry Crews thing. Yeah. That was a joke I was going to make, but since you said it, is DL really DL? 2005. I saw it in the theater. Wait, what we talking about? With the whole, and Bossy Empress TV. Yes. Oh, thank you. So I agree. Because I was like, if y'all going to sit out here and spray people with their tea and stuff, I need y'all to be upfront and honest. I'm tired of y'all just being out here just saying some shit, and then we out here just reporting the news, and then there's no resolution. So get off my line with that. I feel for Christian and what he's going through, and I'm glad he's giving men, the courage to come out and say what needs to be said in regards of if you're a victim, because we need to normalize men speaking up for being victimized, because they're not just being victimized from men, they're being victimized from women too, and women in powerful places. And Hollywood really needs to stop thumbing their nose and looking the other way when people do things because they want to keep their damn job. Oh, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Oh, so it came out in 2005. What is it, 2015? That is 18 years ago. So when people say, if Diary of a Mad Black Woman came out in 2005, we're in 2023, about to go into 2024. That is, yeah, that's like about, oh my God, why did I just forget to say 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Wait. So 2005, 2015 will be almost 20 years. So that's 18 years. Basically, child, I was like, I just had a brain, but I literally knew it was 18 years. And I'm like, I had to count again. But anyway, so that's 18 years ago that my Diary of Mad Black Woman. The man's been almost 2 decades in this industry. And people are sitting up here saying that, oh, it can't be Tyler Perry because he said 15 years ago. Hello, do the fucking math. So I don't care what people say. I do believe it's Miss Perry. I believe that Tyler is in the closet, always has been, because he is a black man that's rooted into the church, and his films are geared towards church people and the religious community, since that has kind of been his, his target audience. He doesn't want to lose that audience. But child, I speak to the church folks. They've been saying Miss Mamas is, a queen, that she get down with the get down. Now, I don't know if she acted on Gay Man or whatever. I haven't heard. Let me shut up. Let me shut up. Because I'm not going to incriminate myself no more than I usually do with this mouth. Yeah, and he's been doing medieval. But then I remember Robert, I believe, was telling me that people was online getting on Tyler for playing. But I'm like, where were y'all 18 years ago when he was playing the character? When y'all was eating it up, when y'all would see them plays, which, quiet as it's kept, they said that Medea is based on Miss Sophia. Now, if y'all don't know who Miss Sophia is, the drag queen performer, I know she has a show on We Are You Radio. I don't know if she still does, actually. I know she was doing a show on there at one point, which is a LGBT urban radio show. So I don't think he ever will. I think that it's gonna be this thing that we know. It's kind of like Queen Latifah. She will never say that she eat the box, but we know, Miss Mamas, that you're a full-on lesbian. I remember people who used to see you down in the village with a new girl every week in your car when you would hang out at the lesbian bars. So it's funny how a lot of the people will be like, oh no, I'm not gay, but girl, we seed you. Not seeing you, we seed you. Because, The Color Purple was coming out on Monday, so I had to say it like Sophia from The Color Purple. We seed you down at the lesbian bar. So I do feel like Tyler will never come out of the closet. You ain't fooling nobody. And I remember there would be regular church-going Black women that I know from my mother, because my mother is a church woman, and they would be like, "Yeah, we know." So you ain't fooling nobody, sir. Just saying. Okay, so what is the next? Okay, so let's move on and talk about Taraji P. Henson. So I gagged when I heard this today. So Taraji did an interview with Gayle King. It was her. Who else was on there? It was her, Blitz Bazawuli, who is the director of The Color Purple, and Danielle Brooks, who plays Sophia in The Color Purple, and Taraji plays Shug Avery, which I didn't know until I watched the interview I think she did with, I don't remember. It was so many interviews that I've seen of Taraji. I don't know if she said it on Jennifer Hudson or The View, one of them damn shows. But she said that they wanted her for the Broadway version with Fantasia. She was like, I was not doing no Shug Avery in no Broadway, because she says, I know my limitations and I know that I'm not going to be able to vocally portray that character 8 nights a week in a theater. And I know at the time Fantasia was going through what she was going through, because she was missing a lot of shows from what I remember hearing. I never had the pleasure of seeing the play when it came out. I think it was 15 years ago when it came out. But I remember hearing like she was missing a lot of shows, and the understudy had to come in, and it was just a mess back in there. But I know she was going through it. So that's probably why she was missing a lot of those shows, because she had a lot going on in her personal life. So Taraji recently did an interview with Gayle King on Sirius XM, and she started getting emotional and started crying because she said that she feels that she's not getting respect in Hollywood. Like all the accolades, she's an Oscar-nominated actress. She has broken a lot of glass ceilings. On something. We just talked about it recently with her co-star from Empire, Terrence Howard, where he's suing his former team, CAA, because he said that they stooped him out of money. So they underpaying people. She said she's tired of y'all not paying her worth. I do have the clip, so I do want to play that for y'all. If I can pull it up, where she basically said that she may wait. Is it this one? Okay, yeah, I got it. So she said she may quit acting because y'all don't treat her right, and y'all not paying her coins. Pay her money. So let's play this clip, and then we'll come back and talk.
Are you thinking about it?
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, have to. The math ain't mathing. And when you start working a lot, you have a team. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. The fact that we're up is a whole entire team behind us. Yes. They have to get paid. So when you hear someone saying, oh, such and such made $10 million, no, that's not that didn't make it to their account. Know that off the top, Uncle Sam is getting 50%. That's right. Okay. So do the math. Now we have 5 million. Your team is getting 30% or whatever your team is off of what you grossed, not more. After what Uncle Sam took. Now do the math. So
You're tired.
I'm only human, and it seems every time I do something and I break another glass ceiling, when it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again, like I never did what I just did, and I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
I get that.
It wears on you, you know? Because what does that mean? What is that telling me?
What is it telling me? Yeah. And what does it tell me? Yeah.
You know? And if I can't fight for them coming up behind me, then what the fuck am I doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, and I definitely feel for her. It's like so many people in this industry, all they want to do is, you know, live their dream, which is, you know, I remember at one point she said that she, you know, had a son and she wanted to live her dream of being an actress. So she brought her son, they, you know, one trip ticket to LA, busted her behind, you know, was paying for her son to go to the best schools or whatever the case. She's out here busting her behind trying to be an actress. And she's been getting all these accolades. She was in Benjamin Button. She's been in so many things. She did like, 6 seasons of Empire. And I remember at one point she was talking about, well, I don't think Terrence Howard had a struggle and all this other stuff. Little did she realize that shortly after she said that, Terrence Howard had come out and sued his own his agency because he said that they were lowballing him, that there was money that he should have been making from Empire, but I guess he didn't have the right legal team behind him to make sure that he was able to get what he was going to get. And we all know that when it comes, especially to people of color, they're going to find a way to lowball you. I'm going to say blackball. I mean, they do that too. But they always find a way to lowball you. And he got lowballed in his situation and with her. They always will come to you at the table with the lowest number and thinking you just going to take it because you should just be so happy that you're in the room and you're able to get whatever they're going to offer you. And it's like, yes, a lot of people, y'all be so quick to think, oh, when you on TV, everything is roses, everything is this and this and this and this. A lot of that shit is borrowed. A lot of that stuff isn't technically theirs that you see them wearing. Like if they're on red carpets in the most expensive gowns and stuff, a lot of that is borrowed from fashion houses and rented for the day. It's not like they actually own the outfits or whatever the case is. So it's like, that's why a lot of times when you saw the actors out this year, they were fighting for better wages, because even when, you know, you're successful and you're making all this money, they're still not making enough to be able to survive. And it's like, well, why am I been doing this job for 15, 20 years almost, just putting a number out there, because I don't think Taraji's been acting for 2 decades, or maybe she has. And then we just now hearing about her because, you know, because I realize a lot of times people don't realize, people only pay attention to you once you make it big, or the illusion of you making it big, or your name starts to circulate. But then you don't realize that, okay, so you may think I just started acting yesterday because I'm a big star now, but you know how long I've been doing this? I've been doing this. I've been on this acting grind for 15 years. So my overnight success took 15 years. And people need to kind of look at it in that way. But people only look at things at face value and don't really take all the other things into consideration. And it's like she said before, it's like the more money you make, the more Uncle Sam takes out of your tax that you want to pay them. So it's like, okay, so then I made 20 million. But now I've lost half of that. So now I have this amount of money. Then I have to pay my agent. I got to pay my manager. I have to pay my hairstylist. I have to pay my makeup artist. I have to pay my stylist. I have to pay all these other people that work. I have to pay my lawyer or ers, in case you need more than one, because sometimes you do need more than one. You need that person you need one that's going to read the contract, and the other one's going to read the contract, make sure you're getting the right shit, and the other person ain't trying to lowball you with the contract. So you can't always depend on that one lawyer. Sometimes you may need two. So it's always so many different factors that plays into when it comes to business. And by the time you paid off all these people that's on your team that have helped you get where you need to get, and can't forget about the assistant, because ain't no way in hell me as an artist I'm gonna be able to handle all my own shit. So I'm gonna need an assistant. I gotta pay the assistant too. And assistants don't work like 8-hour shifts. They on call probably 24/7 until you go to sleep. But for the most part, it's like you gotta pay the assistant too. And then after you paid all these people, then whatever is left is what you have. So now you gotta pay your bills with whatever you have left. Be it your mortgage, if you have a house, or if you have an apartment, you got to pay the rent on the apartment. You got to buy groceries. You got to be able to pay your car note because you got to get to your auditions and all that other stuff. Or if you don't drive, then you got to be able to pay for the Uber to get where you need to go. So people have to realize all that money goes into a lot of stuff. So then when you're done with paying all that stuff off, then it's like, okay, so now I got money sitting in my account. And now I got, after I paid off everybody, I got what, $3,000. So now I got to go and make the other movie. So now I got to pick up all these parts and collect all this money so that way I can at least have enough money in my account. So that way I don't so if I need to take off 3-4 months, or even if it's not even your choice, because a lot of times people forget too, as an actor, you're not always going to be acting back to back to back. Sometimes actors are always like, acting is the one job that you're going to have where you probably spend more time being unemployed than employed. So you'll be able to have those jobs. But then, of course, there's that gap space where it's like, okay, so now I got to go on the audition circuit and continue to get these roles so that way I can book something. Because, when you always talk about with women, roles are scarce. Can you imagine how many roles out there for black women? And it's always the same black actors fighting over the same role. You got your Gabrielle Union, you got your Taraji P. Henson, you got your Octavia Spencer, you got your Viola Davis, all fighting for the same parts. And the list goes on and on and on and on. So it's like so many black actors out here, but they all fighting, all a squirrel trying to get that one nut. So people need to understand how this business works. It is no joke. It's stressful. Yes, it's a great job to have once you have it, but it's so much bullshit that comes with it once all the smoke clears. But people look at the pomp and circumstance of it all and don't look beneath to see the mess that people have to go through. And it's unfortunate. And it's like, I love me some Taraji. She is one of my favorite actors. She also my Virgo sister. It's a lot of us running around here. I'm about to get another Virgo too, Cameron Diaz, which I found out because I was like, let me look it up, because what's going on with her in that story, I was like, that's a typical Virgo thing where she want to have separate room with her husband. But so good luck to you, Taraji. I hope you don't decide to quit. I get the frustration, and I think a lot of times some people just need to have that moment to vent and to let out that negative energy and let off some steam. But I think that's what she's feeling. It's just frustration. It's when you work so hard at something that you love, and it's like, well, damn, you look at it as like, and I get it. This is an industry of, and unfortunately, I did say this, and I wound up getting into it with somebody, but I said, this is the way that people treat the industry. It's not right, but this is the industry of what have you done for me lately? So I can have all these accolades. I got this long-ass list of shit, and Monique tried to tell everybody, but nobody wanted to listen. You have all these accolades. Like I have all these awards. I have all these accolades. You know that every time I do a movie, I sweep the damn box office, but I still, every time I have to come in a room and they're like, oh, I have to go up for this role, I'm literally at the bottom starting over. Why do I have to keep starting at the bottom and then rising to the top? I understand what goes up must come down, but I shouldn't always have to start at the bottom of the barrel and climb my way for y'all to understand and to respect me as an artist when I've been doing this for so damn long. Y'all know what I bring to the table. Why y'all playing in my face? So I totally get why Taraji feels the way she is. And I'm here for you. And I'm glad that she said what she said. So Roa says, can't help but wonder if she's talking about her Color Purple salary as well. Well, that'd be a good question because, the director was sitting next to her in that clip. So I don't know. Well, I don't think it would have anything to do with him. I don't think he deals with pay, disparities or, all that other stuff. Whatever she negotiates, I believe that is between her and her agent. That is who should be discussing and dealing with and negotiating her salary. But as far as the Color Purple, I mean, I don't know how expansive her role as Shug is in this film versus Margaret Avery when she played Shug in the original 84 version, the one we got with Whoopi and the rest of them. Speaking of which, have y'all heard any tea about Whoopi and Oprah getting into it? I've been hearing, I saw something in passing on social media where they said Whoopi and Oprah apparently had some backstage drama or something or another, and how Whoopi wasn't invited to any of the promotional stuff regarding The Color Purple. Now, I know the cast of The Color Purple showed up on, it was the typicals. It was Danielle Brooks, Taraji, the director, and Fantasia all appeared on, the episode of The View. But my thing would be, why isn't Whoopi being, able to come? She was the star of that movie. Oprah wasn't the star yet. Oprah got more money than Whoopi because, Harpo and the studio and the talk show and owning her, the show, owning the Oprah Winfrey Show and becoming the billionaire that she became, Oprah Favorite Things and all that stuff. Old Magazine, Gert. Remember that from Noah's Ark? And then, all her little ventures that she's had. So I always wonder, I'm like, because I've been hearing stories about her and Whoopi and Oprah, but I don't know if that's just people making stuff up online. I may have to do more research into that. But I don't know. For some reason, I think I saw it. I was scrolling and I saw that it said something about Whoopi and Oprah having a beef or something or other. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to look into that. Yeah, like Pedro Pascal, he's been doing stuff since the 90s and people are talking about him. Yeah, exactly. And I love me some Pedro Pascal. I remember, look, Pedro Pascal, people don't even realize, did an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the college season. When she went to college, I believe she was the guy that she met, and then he wound up getting bit by a vampire. Yeah, go back. Pedro Pascal's in the episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's how far back he goes as an actor. And I think a lot of times, yes, that's true. A lot of people really don't be realizing it's like, oh yeah, I just saw it. Damn, what was her name? The director of Cocaine Bear. Can I remember her name on the top of my head? But she was in season 3 of Sex and the City. So, and I just watched her last. I'm like, damn, why do I know you, but I cannot. Her name escapes me, and I'm sure somebody in the comments will let me know. But Elizabeth Banks, thank you. So she was on an episode of Sex and the City. And I was like, you know what? A lot of people, if you watch the shows, that you start to realize, I didn't even know Nick Lachey did an episode of Charmed until they brought that up in their podcast. I was like, Nick Lachey. Holly Marie Combs said that she had to, I guess, take a pay cut or whatever the case was, so that way they could book Nick Lachey. I'm like, who was thinking Nick Lachey was hot enough to be on an episode of Charm where y'all had to break the bank for him? He was like a low-hanging fruit version of a boy band. Like, nobody who was checking for 98 Degrees back in the day? That's like checking for Jessica Simpson and Mandy Moore. And that's no shade. I love me some Mandy Moore, especially because when, she was on, oh my God, what's that show? I almost said The Last of Us. This Is Us. The Last of Us. No, Pedro Pascal is on The Last of Us. This Is Us. She was on that show. And I'm like, that was all trying to make these girls into the next Britney Spears, but it wasn't hitting it. And so now y'all had 98 Degrees. Y'all were trying to make, I guess, Boys the Man, that whole thing. And it was just like, nobody was featuring them. First of all, a friend of mine, Lindsay, told me that a friend of hers went to a 98 Degrees free performance or something in New York, and they weren't even singing their own songs. They were singing covers of like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, other. I'm like, how are y'all a boy band, but you're not even singing your own shit? Like, make that make sense. But they had to break the bank for a Nick Lachey on some damn Charm. That killed me when I heard that. I'm like, yeah, get over my line with that foolishness. Tiffany Haddish. Okay, and Black talent needs to finally unite and produce and distribute our own content instead of I've been saying that for how long, but we live in a society where Black people have this crab in a barrel attitude where they don't want to help their own. It's like once they get to a certain plateau, they look down on their own people, and it's just like, oh, well, you figure out how the fuck to get up where I'm at. I'm there. I don't need y'all. So then y'all can keep getting that low-level, one-note bullshit that Tyler Perry give y'all. Y'all won't say it, I'll say it. Like, I don't get into Tyler Perry because I feel like all his stuff is one note. He won't hire a writing team. He wants to be able to write every damn character. They all sound the same. People say that he's a colorist because you always make the dark-skinned man the villain and the light-skinned man the hero. So there's always some other stuff with him. So y'all like his one-note shit, y'all continue to support it. Same thing like with them horrible-ass Tubi movies that I be seeing that be floating on all over Tubi too. So maybe that too. So I wish that we could have Black people that would band together and distribute the content. I remember at one point when they trying to buy BET, and then the white people was like, we don't want y'all to buy that. We don't want y'all to own what we got over here. We want to see how much money you willing to shell out, and then we'll just play around with y'all, whatever. I was like, So I don't know. That alleged Whoopi stuff. Oh, okay. Never mind. So if you said it was from media fake out, we just gonna take it as a rumor because I don't believe nothing from media fake out is Ashley asked Fred still running that website, because who been checking for media fake out? Don't nobody check for media takeout. Like, y'all been irrelevant for years. That's like PerezHilton.com. Like, who's still going there and get tea? So yeah, that's Elizabeth Banks. We need more Pedro Pascal and less Antonio Sabato Jr. Where you see him at? Daryl Lopez, I already know what he's doing. He's doing like them NBC, what is it, Extra Access House, one of them damn shows. I don't watch that stuff. Like, I always, if I need information, whatever, I'm always on social media looking up stories to talk about, and I do my own stuff or whatever. But Pedro Pascal, he's pretty much busy. Like, he's been doing a lot of films and stuff. And between allegedly playing Reed Richards in Fantastic Four, I don't know if that's a fact yet, but that is the rumor. And then in February, I'm hearing they're supposed to start shooting The Last of Us Season 2, which I need to finish Season 1. Because I was at a point, sometimes when you love a show so much, I have this thing where it's like, I will watch a show, but then I will wait. I was like, oh my God, I don't want the show to end. So I have not watched the last 2 episodes of The Last of Us. And you know how long that show been off the air? It's been almost, well, not even a year, but it's been a while. Like, I would say 6 months. I purposefully not watched the last 2 episodes because I don't want to see how it ends. But who knows when we get in Season 2 of The Last of Us? They got to film the second season first, and then once they do their special effects or something, you know how the post-production is, how long that should take. So who knows when we get it? We might be getting The Last of Us at the end of the year or in 2025, which is irking my spirit because there's so many things I be wanting to watch. I'm like, why y'all taking so long with the post-production? Y'all got 10 episodes of a show, but it take y'all 2 damn years to put special effects on some shit. Can y'all get some, like, look, what was that Godzilla movie that was $15 million and the special effects look way better than the crap that they gave us with The Flash, and that movie was like, what, damn near a $200 million budget? So I don't get it. I know they overworked. I saw 98 Degrees at Epcot. Chill. Y'all performing at Epcot Center? He was exiled for voting for Trump and appearing at, well, I guess love will have to do with that. Oh, because he was in the Janet Jackson video. His career started to take off after he did the second Wonder Woman movie. No, I think his career took off before that. People started paying attention to Pedro Pascal's career started to take off when he did Game of Thrones. I think he was in 2 episodes. I was mad when they killed him off. But then he ended up doing The Mandalorian. And then he was doing something else simultaneously. I cannot remember exactly what it was. But once The Mandalorian and, Game of Thrones, The Mandalorian, all these other things started popping up, that's when, people started paying attention to him. I did not like his character in the Wonder Woman 1984 movie, which I'm hearing James Gunn's brother is about to play that same character in his new DCU. I forget the character's name, but I do remember hearing a couple of, maybe it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that James Gunn had hired his brother, who, actually did the motion capture for Groot. Well, no, Rocky, actually. Rocket Raccoon. He did the motion capture stuff. Bradley Cooper just did the voice. But when you didn't see his brother on camera, because he is also in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So once his brother, he was also doing the motion capture, all the stuff. He's playing that character in the new DCU thing, which people are pissed off because it's like, oh, that's nepotism. I'm like, he's always put his brother in stuff, and he's also acted in other things. So it's not technically, and even if it is nepotism, who cares? If my brother's gonna give me a job and is running the DCU shit, give me a job. I ain't say you had to give me, I don't need to play Batman, but just give me something. Stranger Things is chill. I'm over Stranger, and you already, especially with that Noah Schnapp shit. I don't even care at this point about Stranger Things. When it come on TV, it'll come on. I do believe that they're going to start filming in the new year, but with Stranger Things and everything, I'm like, chill, get off my line with that. First of all, with Noah Schnapp and all that crap he been saying, especially against the Palestinians, I could give a fuck if Stranger Things comes back. But when it does come back, I'll watch it. But, at this point, he's not really a central character of the show. He's barely the reason why I watch Stranger Things. We watch it for 11 and the rest of the kids. Noah Schnapp character just comes across as an afterthought. Always has, really, except in like season 1 when he disappeared. So I'm the same with Ted Lasso, Reservation Dogs, and The Crown. I'm in denial that they're over. And yeah, I'm very much in denial when it comes to shows. So that's why I stretch them out and I like to pretend like, oh yeah, it's not over, so I'll just wait. Speaking of which, I've been trying to get around to watch Reservation Dogs, and I've never gotten around to watching. I know there's like, what, 2 or 3 seasons on Hulu. I need to get around to watch that, but there's so many damn shows on TV. I don't be having the time to like really dive in and watch stuff. And David Lab says, I forgot they squished his head like a grape. Yeah, I hated that scene. He wanted to get that damn revenge. And I want him to get it too. But of course, I think, who was it against? Was it against Cersei? Oh, she was a bitch. I mean, I like the actors that played her, but child, Cersei, oh, I couldn't stand her. But she got hers in that finale. But that's why we live for them. Okay, so let's get to the rest of the topics. We got how many topics? 4. Well, let me close this Mariah Lopez thing. We already did that one. So let's talk about Married to Medicine, because the episode that Quad was fired from, it already aired. Came and went. Then she did an episode of Carlos King show, which I hear Carlos King is taking his podcast on the road. If you like it, I love it. I don't want to shit on nobody's show or whatever the case is, because look, I hope to get to that point one day where I can actually get up and travel with a crew of people as co-hosts or whatever. I'll probably bring in Lindsay and Remy for the whole Drinks and Drag traveling thing and see if we can come up with something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Or I'll find some people, some strippers or whatever. Some male go-go dancers, some drag queens, and we just travel around and we just talk celebrity news and gossip. So I hope to get there one day. However, I did agree with Heavenly in their recent episode that they did. They do like a recap or whatever of Married to Medicine. He don't be going hard on people. He don't give rebuttals or push back when he answers questions. I think Carlos is one of those people that is so happy he got the big exclusive interview that he doesn't go, like, I always say, like, with me, no, it's no shade to the person I'm interviewing, but you got to realize I got to play devil's advocate. And I learned from the best. I learned from Ms. Wendy Williams that, I'm not going to go in and for the juggler and be messy for the sake of being messy, but I'm going to ask the questions that the audience is thinking. So, or the audience will expect me to ask. It's like when I did my interview with Daniel McGarrigle, where he went up against Shangela and said that she did what she did to him. It's like I had to ask the questions that other people want to ask, and you got to be able to answer the question. Or you could say you don't care to answer the question, and that's fine. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. But you should be able to push back at your interviews and not just thinking that, oh, because I got the big celebrity name, like an Erica Mena or a Quad Webb or whoever, that, oh, I'm so happy that I got that and I'm going to get those big ratings or whatever on YouTube, that the people are going to come in and I don't have to really push back on them, but your audience is looking at you like you being soft. So according to her, she said that she had no idea that her ex-husband, Dr. Greg, and his new wife, Sweet Tea, were asked to come back on the show. She said she found it on social media. So the reality show has been a staple in Married to Medicine since the beginning. Sat down, as I said, with Carlos King for an episode of his Reality with the King YouTube series. And she said she felt hurt by the alleged lack of communication from producers, saying no one ever called me. This is what Webb, 43, who filed for divorce in 2018 after 6 years of marriage, amid allegations of infidelity and abuse. And if Miss Sweet Tea don't think she about to go through what Quad went through, ma'am, I got a house in the Hollywood Hills to sell you, even though I don't work real estate. She said, I have no text messages. I have no calls. I have none of that. They didn't care how I would feel. Didn't say, were you even ready for that, Quad? Is this going to be a trigger for you? Nothing. Not even a courtesy call. She also alleged, she said, no one ever said, do you think about this idea? No one ever said, we're thinking about reaching out to them. No one ever said, we know the turbulent marriage and how things went, but we still think this is going to be a good idea for the show. So just want to give you a heads up. We're probably going to look to bring your ex-husband and his new love interest on the show. No, not at all. Instead, Webb said she learned information on social media like everybody else and asked how this made her feel. She said it made her feel disrespected. She said, I was perplexed. I was confused. I felt like, why? Why would you be so cruel towards me? Why would you not even lend me a courtesy, just a phone call? I like to think over the years we have become my family. You can't be with a group of people for 10 years and not have some emotional tie to them. And I just felt like, did I mean anything to you all? Anything? You could have just called me. You could have just flew me to town and sat down with me and had a conversation with me. You didn't even for a moment take your producer's hat off and just put on your hat of humanity? No, because this is welcome to the world of TV and production. Like, these producers are cold-blooded. They don't care. And here's the thing. You ain't the only one, sis, that's been blindsided. Because there was some tea that came out that Teresa, let's talk about Teresa Giudice and Joe and Melissa Gorga. She said she did not know that they were going to bring on her brother and sister-in-law, that they were going to bring on, her for the show. And at the end of the day, when it comes to these shows, especially Married to Medicine or any of these Bravo shows, their main goal is to keep the ratings going, to cause conflict. Teresa didn't have, I'm trying to remember I don't even think they were on the show anymore. The Manzos were pretty much gone. She couldn't fight with them. Danielle was off and on with her. So it's like, oh, well, so you beefing with your brother? Like, he calls you scum when you come to the baby shower? Oh, there's a story there. So let's reach out to them and bring them on. And, Joe, loving the spotlight. And you can't blame somebody for liking a spotlight or having the opportunity to make a little check on the back of their own family. Sometimes your family will fuck you. Well, most of the time, your family will fuck you over more so than your friends will. I've come to learn that myself. What if I don't fuck around a lot with my own family? I've cut a lot of them off, trust to believe. So, with that being said, I'm not surprised by this whole thing. And yeah, the producers, no shade, don't owe you anything. If you aren't an executive producer and you don't have any kind of ownership of the show, these producers can go with and do whatever and however a show that they want to do. And once you sign on that dotted line to be a part of a show, the producers could do whatever they want. Now, you have a choice. You could either play ball or you could quit. And Quiet as it's kept, I've heard stories that Quiet was real nasty to production behind the scenes, difficult to work with, was showing up late, was, leaving when she wanted to leave, was being rude and nasty. So when you treat people a certain way, they don't have to do anything or tell you anything. You're just like, a lot of you people, y'all come on these shows, y'all got to humble yourselves and just be like, you know what, this is an ensemble. I have a job to do. And it is what it is when I come in there and do that. It's like, I come in, tell me where I got to stand, tell me what I got to do, what's the scene I got to shoot. Okay, let's do what we need to do. And people need to realize you got to split that thing up. No hard feelings. Now I get it. She had her situation with Dr. Greg, but ma'am, you are no longer married to medicine. And had wherewithal with the cast, but she didn't get along with them. She said she had no emotional connection to any of the girls. So the minute you say that you don't have no emotional connection, these bros ain't gonna want to shoot with you. So at this point, what do? Now you're pretty much iced out, which they kicked you out of the thing. They invited you to come down to, I think it was Aspen, for the wine tasting thing. You wasn't even there 24 hours. And then they bring you down to the room talking about, well, we're going to ask you to leave because I need somebody here who really wants to celebrate when I'm celebrating. So, unfortunately, this is the name of the game. Now, Miss Mama's Sweet Tea done moved into your situation. And she's cute or whatever. I like Sweet Tea for the show. But I also feel like that girl sought out Dr. Greg. Like, she knew. She was like, I had never seen the show. Girl, now who ain't never seen Married to Medicine? See, a lot of y'all be lying and acting like y'all ain't never seen these shows, or y'all don't be knowing people tea, or y'all don't be knowing people is single, or whatever the case is. She knew what she was doing. She sought that man out. And now he can throw in your face, which we've seen a little bit of, what he used to do to Quad. I'm the doctor. I make the money. I bring in the bacon. I pay the bills. You can't say shit to me. So there's that. So Quad, it's unfortunate that you got to deal with what you're dealing with, but it's the name of the game, unfortunately. So, and Phaedra, I don't know, girl, if you don't step it up and bring something to the show this season, you need to go too. Because she's on there and it's like, what is her attachment? Yeah, Quad said that she brought Phaedra onto the show. But Phaedra, you need to be spilling tea. You need to be talking about things you want to talk about. Like, first of all, you ain't been on our screens in almost a decade? Why aren't they able to break the fourth wall and bring up what happened with Real Housewives of Atlanta? The reason why you were removed from the show, because Candy refuses to have you as long as she is, apparently it seems like she owns stock in Bravo and the Atlanta Housewives. Her non-story having ass. So she's out here saying like, well, if you whatever you did, what you did with Portia, and that whole thing where allegedly you said that she assaulted her and her husband, tried to get you drugged up and assault you, SAU, not just assault, but of the sexual kind, in a sex dungeon. That whole rumor apparently came from Phaedra, which got her fired from the show, and Candy saying, I'm not going to shoot with her. So when you've been blackballed from Atlanta circles, and now you managed to find your way back into a new circle via Married to Medicine, you got to be able to, we need to break the fourth wall and talk about the other show. Like, what happened with that? Tell your side of the story, even though we know it's hard for Phaedra to tell the truth in a lot of situations. But whatever story you're going to tell, just leave it up to us as fans to decipher and figure out, okay, is she telling us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Since she's an attorney, I had to throw that in there. So, good luck to you, Quad. I don't know what she's going to do now that she's no longer a part of Married to Medicine, because that other show she was on was canceled with Selena Johnson. That's not around anymore, so I don't know what she's going to do as far as the income goes, because once that Married to Medicine coin dry up and she's no longer part of that, I don't know, are you going to be able to jump on another show, or I don't know, is Carlos King going to scoop you up and put you on one of his tight-ass shows on the own network that nobody's watching, because he got a lot of time and a lot of energy to be talking about other people's shows, but you're not focusing on your own shows. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Okay, so we got some comments. Have you heard what Michelle Bachmann said? She basically okay with the genocidal Gaza, saying they're terrorists and other stuff, and said she found chill. I can't with these retarded politicians. Are we going to talk about how Madonna won Capital One arena? That she, I don't know. That wasn't a part of the topic for today. I'll probably hold on to that and bring it up later on down the road when she goes back on tour, especially since I'm going to be seeing her next month. But yeah, so she pretty much, more short, I'll bring it down further down the line because I already have my list of topics I'm going to be talking about. But she did say that she's doing, she had to put out an itinerary of literally what time the doors open, when y'all can go get y'all concessions, when you can basically, the DJ is going to be off from this time to this time, when she plans on going on stage. So now Madonna has to put out a whole itinerary because people want to sit and bitch and moan about, well, the ticket says doors open at 7:30, so they expect her to go on at 7:45 apparently, because the doors open at 7:30 and they got to be at home by 10 o'clock because a bunch of 60-year-olds and a bunch of 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds are going to her concert and y'all got responsibilities with kids. It's like, come on now. Like, if y'all going to go to a concert and see certain people, y'all should make time and be aware of that you may come back home late at a certain time. Like, I spoke to my mother today. She's at a damn Christmas party with my father. She said, I ain't probably going to get home or whatever until like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Like, so people have an idea of what, okay, if you're going to go out or whatever, have it in your mind that you may be out for a while. But people just want to bitch and moan about stuff. So it's freaking annoying. So, but anyway, as far as Quad go, good luck to you, girl. And hopefully you found employment now that you're no longer on Married to Medicine. So let's talk about Cardi B and Offset. So we talked about them the other day where she talking about, that video that went viral of her screaming at Offset saying that she got to go on the internet because you don't take her seriously, that you got her out here looking stupid and all this other stuff. I pretty much said she need to get off the goddamn internet and she need to put all this energy in that sophomore album, the follow-up to the debut album that she released damn near 6 years ago. That's where you need to put your energy. And then you have people on social media saying, oh, I think that she's doing this to sabotage Nicki Minaj. I'm like, get off my line with that. First of all, y'all stay up her big ass when it comes to talking about Cardi B always trying to sabotage a Nicki Minaj. Would y'all stop worrying? Y'all overthink a lot of this shit. First of all, I didn't think for once that had anything to do with it. My thing is, if whoever gonna buy the album, and I said this like I said the last time, I'm staying 10 toes down on it. If the people who are going to buy a Nicki Minaj album is going to buy a Nicki Minaj album, it ain't got nothing to do with how the hell does drama trending of Cardi's drama with Offset, who been treating her like shit from the beginning. I've been said that nigga a damn bum, but y'all wanted to stick with him and kisses behind and do whatever the hell it was, but she stuck by him. So now you got 2 kids with him, and now you out here looking like Boo Boo the Fool. So now you stuck with him, even if y'all decide to get a divorce. And that's why I said also, she needs to divorce him, unless I hear that the houses are for sale. I don't know how many houses she got. She did say that he bought her a house in the Dominican Republic that got the people living in that ain't paid them rent for a year. I don't know how you let that go, but whatever. So, so I said, unless you start filing paperwork that you get a divorce, that y'all split in the house or whatever, who's going to stay where, and you're going to uproot and move somewhere else with you and them kids and leave that bum alone, because quiet as it's kept, nobody was checking for Offset like that until he got with Cardi. Cardi elevated him. And I don't care what nobody says, because he wasn't the one from the Migos that everybody was cheering on. It wasn't until he got with Cardi that people even knew what the hell an Offset was. So now he out here feeling himself. He thinking he better than her. And I think in so many ways he envies the fact that she's a bigger star than him, as a lot of these men in the industry do. Whenever you're in the same industry with someone and they tend to be the bigger star, you start to envy them. So he been out here laying low and spreading it wide, allegedly with a bunch of other women. They tried to say Krishan. I'm like, damn, you stooping that low? You gonna let that girl who looked like her pussy, I could smell her vagina through my goddamn screen. You gonna let that, you hunching her, of all people, allegedly? That's what the dumbass Blueface said. And I don't necessarily believe that, but you can't put nothing past a man where your reputation is you will stick your peen in anything. So, with all that being said, now there's word coming out that they both have a New Year's Eve party that's happening, and their parties are going to be in their venues are going to be in the same damn hotel. So according to page 6, the on-and-off couple will be performing separately at venues inside the Fontainebleau, Miami Beach on New Year's Eve, Offset at the hotel's club LIV, and Cardi at its poolside venue Lux. Reportedly, the bookings were made before the pair broke up this month. The two have been married since 2017 in September and share 2 kids, Culture Kiari Cephas, who's 5, and Wave Cephas, 2. Kind of names of those. But anyway, if y'all like it, I love it. Offset's eldest children, Jordan, 13, and Cody, 8, and Kalia are from the rapper's previous relationship. So he has 5 kids with a bunch of other women. And y'all already know about the Instagram videos. We don't need to go through that mess again. But they have 2 separate parties. And I do find it interesting. It's like, okay, so now y'all both have 2 separate parties happening in the same hotel. Now it's going to be battle of the freaking New Year's Eve party. No shade, but I actually hope that Cardi beats him in the whole party department. Because it's like, who's going to go to an Offset party? Like, I feel like the Blueface types will go to an Offset party. Cardi gives me like it'll be a mixture. Like, you're gonna get the Jason Lee types, you're gonna get the upper echelon types that'll go up in there, and you get the Love and Hip Hop types. So it's like you kind of get that, you'll get that mixture of the regular club goers, and then you probably get a couple of elite people going up in there, and a lot of bloggers, influencers, that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see who breaks what. But like I said before, when it comes to y'all, just go y'all separate ways at this point, because to me it feels like you just putting a lot of drama out here in the sake of drama. And like I said earlier, with the whole situation of when it comes to parties and all this other stuff, not even parties, but just relationships and stuff, it's like, stop straggling us along with y'all drama, and then there's no resolution. So you go on social media every time because you're feeling emotional. She's being a Libra. Ain't she a Libra? I think she is. She's a Libra, so she's overly emotional. I know a friend of mine who's Libra hated that I said that, but she being emotional because he's a Libra too. But she's being overly emotional instead of just like, you know what, channel that energy into your work. You don't need to come out here and just let everybody know. Like, I get it. You come from a reality TV background. You got your start on Love and Hip Hop. You became this big star because of Love and Hip Hop. And then you use that Love and Hip Hop cachet to capitalize on being a musician. So, and then after that, it's like you kind of been doing, what you've been doing with Offset. And so, well, you helped him in a lot of ways. I wonder in what ways you helped him. But I do feel like maybe what she meant by helping him was that she upgraded him. She elevated him. That with her getting into places, like I stated before, he's not getting into a Vogue party or sitting front row at a Balenciaga party. I mean, a Balenciaga fashion show next to Anna Wintour in front row unless Cardi is there with him. So you're not getting in a lot of those big A-list spaces without her, because she is the one that the A-list, the mainstream people are looking at and are inviting to a lot of their spaces. They ain't looking at a damn Offset. So he's a tag along, or was, because they're not together no more. And we've known in the past that these two have been on again, off again, that you spray your tea all over social media, giving your haters more ammunition to throw stuff in your face, because whenever you go, you get the neighborhood talks or the shade room and all these other people that talk about you, your tea that you done sprayed be all up in the comment section. So you giving people that fodder to throw back in your face, and then all of a sudden, because Cardi loves going, I think she gets off on the combativeness, she's in the comments going at the fans. And it's like, they like that. Why are you giving them ammunition to throw in your face only for you to respond back? So I don't get it. Let it go. Don't give these people ammunition. That doesn't just go for Cardi. It goes for anybody in the industry. Don't let these people, don't give people the ammunition to spray you with your own tea in so many ways. So good luck to you, girl, and we'll see who wins that. I'm wondering, come January 2nd, when everybody get back to work and start talking whatever, this who party was popping. We'll see whoever gets to slither into both parties, and y'all just be like, okay, who had the better party? Whoever goes. Okay, so let's move on to our next one, because we got two more topics and then we out it. Okay, so Cameron Diaz recently did an interview, and she's out here trying to normalize separate bedrooms for married couples, because she's married to good Charlotte musician Benji Madden. And she said that she loves the idea of having her own space. Now on Tuesday, Molly Sims and her best friend Emmys, is it Embassy or Amaze? I don't know how to say the name. So I'll say Embassy or Emise Gormley released their latest episode of their podcast Lipstick on the Rim, with a segment featuring the Charlie's Angels alum 51 and her Abilene wine business partner Catherine Power. As the ladies talked about the health-conscious lifestyles, Diaz opened up about that she once considered her ideal living situation for her household. Says after one of the women admitted her husband snores, the Bad Teacher star who married good Charlotte rocker Benji Madden in 2015 had a confession of her own, saying, "We should normalize separate bedrooms." Diaz chimed in before explaining her reasoning. "To me, I would literally have my house, you have yours. We'd have the family house in the middle. I will go and sleep in my room, you go sleep in your room. I'm fine. And we have the bedroom in the middle that we can convene in for our relations." She continued with, "One of those joked that the revelations might be controversial. The group joked that the Shrek alum shouldn't have shared it." He said, "I already said it." Before clarifying, said, "By the way, I don't feel that way now because my husband is so wonderful. I said that before I got married." But here's the thing. If the day ever came that I wasn't married or whatever the case was, or I decided to move in with my significant other, I'm totally here for this. Like, I don't see why this is a bad idea. If you got the money and the means and the wherewithal to be able to have something like this, where it's like, okay, so I got my bedroom, you got your bedroom, and when we want to hunch, we have the middle room. So we go in there, that's when we have our relations. But after we done, we clean ourselves up, and then you go in your room, I go in mine. I have no problem with that. Me, I am a bed hogger. Like, I will literally, like, there's times where it's like, okay, in certain situations, I will literally sleep at the same spot and won't move. But that's always been because when I've had to be in certain places that I'm not comfortable, I pretty much will be, I'll sleep on the same side the entire night and won't move or whatever. I don't know how I don't toss and turn, but I've always been able to just stick to one spot until I wake up. Unless I'm like having some type of situation going on in my brain, then I'm like all over the place. But if I'm in my own bed, it's like, yeah, I'm spread out. I'm all over the place. I got the blanket wrapped around me, like I'm, even when it's hot. I mean, when it's hot outside in the summertime, I'm wrapped in a blanket like a damn burrito. I don't know why, but I just like being in a blanket, all year round. But anyway, so I don't mind that. And then plus on top of that, it's like I don't want to have to deal with people cuddling me and touching me and snoring and all that other stuff. I need pitch blackness. I need absolute silence when I sleep. I don't like light. The room has to be pitch black. I don't like noise. I don't like none of that. It has to be absolute silence if I'm in a room. So I have my specific things that I need when I'm sleeping. And if somebody comes in and interrupts that, it's going to piss me off. And I totally get why Cameron Diaz felt that way, because I'm like, I looked it up. When I was doing the research on the story earlier, I was like, let me look up and see what her damn sign is. I was like, is she a Virgo? And she is. She's August 30th, though. I'm a September Virgo. She's an August Virgo. But like Kiki, she's an August Virgo, too. Me, like Beyonce and Keanu Reeves and Salma Hayek, we all September Virgos. There's a bunch of us, too. Tyler Perry's a Virgo, too. But, yeah, so for the most part, it's like I like my peace and quiet. I have my things, my specific things about me. And I feel like when it comes to relationships, I'm not willing to compromise any of that for anybody. So I would definitely be here for nobody, if I'm in a relationship, to not have that person that I'm in the room with. It's like, yeah, you have your room, I have mine. I even entertain the idea of like, let's have separate houses. But it's like at the same time, it's like, no, that I don't know, that might be a little too much, because it's sort of like if you're in a relationship with somebody, you do need to get to know them in some sort of way and their habits and all that other stuff and be with them. But the separate bedrooms, I'm here for. I don't know if I could go too far with the whole separate apartments or separate house and that sort of thing. That might be a little much, but I could do the separate bedrooms, and that would definitely be something I would go hard for. So, Cameron, I definitely felt you on this, and I'm not mad that you said what you said. So, yeah. So there's that. Okay, so let's get to our final topic and talk about Mariah Carey, who might be a single woman after 7 years of dating because she ain't married. So rumors are going around that Mariah Carey and dancer Bryan Tanaka may have called it quits after 7 years together. So an insider told People that Carey, who's 54, is taking her annual holiday trip to Aspen, Colorado, without the backup dancer this year. Tanaka, who is 40, has joined Carey, who shared 12-year-old twins Moroccan and Monroe with Nick Cannon on a festive getaway in previous years. The rumors that the 7-year-long relationship might have ended began to swirl when Carey kicked off her Merry Christmas One and All tour at Yamava Resort and Casino in Highland, California in November, and Tanaka was nowhere to be seen. The Grammy winner and the dancer have a long-standing hit-working relationship, with Tanaka being a staple in Carey's tours since 2006. Now, fans also noticed that the pop icon seemingly solemn during her otherwise jolly holiday set. Say, every clip I've seen, she looks like she doesn't want to be there, one fan tweeted, while another said that Carey looks depressed and that something is going on behind the scenes. Carey further spewed speculation when she told People earlier this month that she had a tough year, saying, I've been looking forward to this Christmas for like the whole year since last year because last year wasn't the greatest. This is what the Obsessed songstress said, saying, I'm thankful for them all, but it wasn't my most fun version for Christmas ever. Carey didn't elaborate further on why her year was so unfortunate, but later in the interview, she vowed to have fun, big fun. Oh no, I was having a Cosby Show moment during the 2023 holiday season, come hell or high water. Tanaka and Carey were last seen together on the Without You singer's birthday vacation in March, which there was and I posted that on my website, that Bryan Tanaka, when he posted that, because I saw that people were saying, oh yeah, well that debunks things, because they were trying to say y'all broke up, but that was the last time he posted a photo, was when they hung out on the birthday. A lot of stuff could have happened since March. That's like 9 months ago. So if they broke up, sometimes things run its course, and it seemed to be this ongoing theme that a lot of people, when y'all hit that lucky, because it ain't that lucky apparently. Lucky number 7, like with so many people, it was like Billy Porter, Juan Yosef, and Ricky Martin after 7 years, and you got Mariah Carey with this man after 7 years. Like it's like the 7-year mark. A lot of people just be calling it quits and breaking up and stuff. So I'm not surprised by any of. Well, first of all, I wasn't paying attention to Mariah Carey's love life like that. But once I saw this article, I was like, "Oh, we should talk about it." That she may have called it quits, just like we talked about in the last episode. Bad Bunny done split from his significant other, Kendall Jenner, which, like I said before, I don't even believe them two was even a thing. I think that was a PR stunt on both sides. But Mariah Carey and Bryan, you know what? I'm sure she'll probably find somebody, whatever. Just sing a little Christmas songs, have your fun with your kids, go out to Aspen like you always do, and have your big fun, as they said in that episode of The Cosby Show. So, okay, he's looking for a jail sentence in Brazil. Apparently, he got himself involved in a huge scandal. Oh, what are we talking about? They say he's looking for a jail sentence in Brazil? Who's in jail? Apparently, he got himself involved. Okay, so let me know who you talking about, because I have no idea who you mean or who you're referring to. Oh, wait, what? There was drama with Bryan Tanaka where they said that he might be going to jail in Brazil. I'm like, what's a scandal? Do it got to do with money? Well, I may have to look into that. Well, if you heard anything, well, yeah, let me know another time, because this is our last topic that we just pretty much did. So yeah, we're at the end of the show, everybody. Tune in next time for a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Be sure to look at that description down below. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Follow me on all my social media platforms. If you're also feeling a little generous, I was like, where is it? Oh, I gotta scroll up at the top. Definitely hit me up on that Cash App at the Chris Avalon if you can. If you don't, then that's fine as well. But I will ask you to do something that's not gonna cost you a thing, in the words of Jennifer Lopez, besides my love. If you hit that like button, that also helps out with the algorithms and things of that nature as well. And once again, like I said before, thank all of those of you who have helped me hit the, more of the subscribers and stuff and keeping those numbers and things going up. And I've been noticing a lot of my shows have been getting a lot of views and all this stuff, and the algorithms is doing what needs to be done. So thank you all for that. And yeah, so I don't know if any other tea comes out this weekend. It's like, if you hit that like button, all this stuff, it'll let you know. And that follow button, it'll let you know when I do go live and do a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. So without further ado, I will say once again, thank you all for watching. And until next time, ciao, darlings.